Off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And this is Dr. Marissa. You've tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Podchaser, Rumble, Spreaker, and more. I am Dr. Marissa, your hashtag positively opinionated host. And I'm here every weekday morning to start your day in the most positive way. Why? Because life is way too short to continue to be pissed off at what's going on, as well as stressed or anxious and all of the things that bring your physical body into non-alignment, and you get sick, and then there's even more to complain about, and then you go focus on something that you don't like, and it is just an endless, horrific hamster wheel of doom. I know if you were feeling good before you tuned in, now you're not feeling good, but I am here because I love to balance out all the bad news out there with good news. So there's no gossip on this show, no scandal on this show, no K words on this show, no Kardashian talk, no Kanye talk, no talk about people, places, and things that really don't matter. But what matters is your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And so I have topics and guests to that end. In fact, 806 topics and guests that you can find on my YouTube channel. Free subscribe there, and you can get years worth of content that hopefully will keep you happy 88% of the time. And shout out to Jim Highland, who checked in from Florida. And thank you always for coming and chatting with me. I stream live on Facebook, which is Dr. Marissa or Marissa Pay, and also on LinkedIn now, and also on YouTube, which is the central place. So today's topic is heaven really a place on earth? I had someone who not criticized me, but, well, yeah, she criticized me because she couldn't understand how I could be so positive when things around us are not so positive. And as you know, today is a big Asian Oprah giveaway ticket day. Thanks to my sponsor, Saban Theater, where music meets the soul productions. I have not one pair, but a myriad of pairs, several pairs, not that many, but I have free tickets to see the amazing, timeless Belinda Carlisle, who's one of her hit songs is "Heaven is a Place on Earth." Ooh, okay, so that's why the topic is such. And also, I will be giving tickets away throughout the show for her concert in, let's say it's tomorrow night at the Saban Theater. So if you live in Southern California, or you have friends, you can call them now and see if they want to go with you. And then the first pair of tickets will go to the first person that goes to drmarissa.life and puts in heaven. That's the first pair's subject giveaway on drmarissa.life. So go there, scroll to the bottom on the contact subject line, put heaven, and you'll get the first pair of tickets. So the topic then is to answer her question, why do I say heaven is a place on earth. Why is it is important? And how can I say things are okay when you look around you and there's a lot of things that are not okay? So that's the topic we're going to hit today, answering that question. You know, I love to answer questions. If you have one, go on the chat and comment there and say, I have a question, and we'll get to it on the air. All right. But in order to exercise my ability to continue to be positive, we're going to invite you all to breakfast. And you know the drill. Take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. What are 8 things that you are specifically grateful for? Those of you, I see eyeballs rolling in, please put it in the chat. If you're driving, please do not type and text at the same time, but you can say to the person next to you or speak to the driver in front of you and list out your 8 specific gratitudes. I'll start with, I'm grateful for watching the sunrise this morning. It is part of my discipline to swim and do laps every other morning. And so the beautiful thing about now, before the clock turns fall back, is it's like I get time lapse from the time I go down to the bike first. It's super dark. And then by the time I get out of the pool, the sun is rising and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm grateful that the sun is shining no matter where you are. And I see more eyeballs. Welcome to the show. Please do use the chat to put the gratitudes down that you're feeling right now. That even when it's cloudy, I know that the sun is shining somewhere else. I'm grateful that I have fantastic supporters who continue to message me and tell me and smile at me and eyeball me on the air, that this is 9.5 years on the air and 807 shows. I'm grateful that I have a plethora of positive things to say about people around me, which keeps me from falling into curmudgeon and falling into negativity. It's so easy to be negative, but I'm grateful that I have a muscle that tries to keep me positive. I'm grateful that we have hot showers in this country and that we're one of the top 8% that enjoy food in our bellies and in our fridge, a bed we can sleep on, and a roof over our heads, and a little money in our pocket. I'm grateful that no one won the lottery, and I have a ticket, or unless something happened and I didn't catch up. Every once in a while, I love playing that because the anticipation of winning is a wonderful feeling. And lastly, I'm grateful that I can see and that I can enjoy. Take time to smell my coffee and look at the sunrise and enjoy the eyeballs that are rolling in. That's the top of the bun for gratitude. What do you appreciate about yourself? This is the bottom of the bun. Thank you so much for chatting with me too. Let's see who Jim's here from Florida, and I know that Cecilia is going to come in. We all have people around us that we can appreciate, but the most important person to appreciate is the buck stops right over here. It's so important to exercise your muscle to like yourself. And some people will say, but Dr. Marissa, I really don't like myself. And there's a lot of people who have that voice in our head that says you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you don't deserve anything good. And that voice is lying to you. I represent and I talk a lot about the group that I grew up in, which is one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. And it's very, very difficult for us to think good things in our lives because we were told that there's really nothing good about us. And that voice is very strong and it collects insults and criticisms throughout the rest of your life. This is a discipline and practice of why we do the bottom of the bun. It's not a light switch. It doesn't happen right away, but the affirming of yourself and what's good about yourself is the single most powerful tool for you to have a happy life. And that's why we do appreciation. So what do you appreciate about yourself? I appreciate that I don't give up. I don't give up on myself, and I don't give up on people around me. That doesn't mean I'm always in their face. That doesn't mean I'm always calling them or dogging them. I hold them in the best place possible. And sometimes, if I'm not asked for help, I try not to help, because if you're helping people and they're constantly falling back into their old habits and patterns, save your breath. Go somewhere where help is received, first and foremost to yourself. I appreciate that I am fun loving. I do love to find things that make me smile and make me laugh. Why? Because it makes me feel good. I appreciate that I know why I'm here on the planet. And that's really not to help people. First and foremost, a lot of people fall into the trap of thinking that their purpose in life is to give of themselves so much that they're exhausted and burnt out. I know that I am here to, first and foremost, feel good, not in a selfish, self-centered way, but selfish and self-centered in a positive way, that I'm here on the planet to really enjoy my life. And that is not necessarily a societal norm. We've been told not to. We're here to serve or to help others. I'm sorry, what was that?
Something happened. Your screen went black.
Oh, my screen went black. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
No.
Okay.
I can't hear you either.
Okay. So I don't know what's going on. There's people here. Is that better? Okay. Jim, are you sure it's not on that end? Jim, can you tell me if you see me? I saw a thumbs up and I see eyeballs. Are you, the studio's telling me that I am a black screen. So I'm back on. All right. Jim appreciates about himself that he never gives up, like myself. I appreciate that I am a good problem solver and that I try not to freak out 88% of the time when things don't go to plan. I appreciate that I have a great sense of humor, that I'm able to laugh at myself. And then finally, I appreciate that I am I appreciate that I know that I don't have to be good just at one thing in life. I think that is a super duper thing that I have learned. People have told me my entire life that you cannot do many things. And then they'll say, that expression, I hate that expression. What is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. That's actually a BS, a bullshit-talky belief system that keeps people in jobs that they hate. That keeps people in doing things in their life, in their career, that they really don't like. And then I hear things like, I live for the weekend. Just tell me what to do 9 to 5. And the rest of the time I want to, leave me alone. And that kind of a life is really not fulfilling in my mind, because the weekend is only 2 days out of 7. And your evenings, if you hate your job, you come home and basically complain about your job for the rest of the day. So you lose all 5 days. So I appreciate that I know that you can do more than one thing, that your book of life has many chapters and there's so many stops on the joy ride of your life. All right. And that is breakfast with Dr. Marissa. Thank you, Jim, for playing with me and having breakfast with me here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. And today's topic is heaven a place on earth? And I'm going to throw at you a bunch of different tools on how you can look at life a little differently. But to give you contrast, I'm going to be put the moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of elephant in the room, and expand on what I was criticized about. And her comments were that I'm belittling life because I'm not acknowledging or paying attention to all of the things that are going wrong in this world today. So I'm going to put headlines in the news just to make this real. So breaking and latest news. Let's go to what just comes up on Google, and let's just share it so you know that I'm not making this shiitake up. But the screen says, here we go, headline in the news. Abortion rights take center stage. So if you are for abortion rights, you're going to be very angry and say, how can you be happy right now when we're going backwards as far as women's rights are concerned? Or if you are pro the other side, you're going to be happy, but you're going to be upset that there's so much hullabaloo about it. Europe is concerned about U.S. resolve in Ukraine. So how can you be happy? How can you say heaven is on earth when Russia is killing and destroying Ukraine and we still have war in this time? Let's see. Let's say, they made good money but left LA. So I think we're speaking to the changing places, the money lost from the pandemic. I know that a lot of people have lost their businesses. How can you be happy when so much loss has happened because of COVID, not just of life, but small businesses took a huge toll. People put their life savings in them. There's so much loss that way. The stock market, Bitcoin, the NFTs, all the ways in which we tried to make good money, we've lost. There is positive news. The Powerball, 700 million. I was right. It has not been taken. So I think everybody should go buy a $1 or $2, I think a $2 ticket just for the fun of it. And if you win, you get to share with me if you don't normally buy it. So there's one piece of good news. All right. After a warning on the school intercom, a gunman with an AR-15 rifle killed. So another shooting. Okay, this one is in St. Louis High School, and let's just take a minute, as I do, with the power of our breath collectively to send comfort and healing to this area. It is important for us not just to shake our heads, but do what we can. And one of the things is just take that breath in through the nose. And now release, and just the power of the comfort and the healing, and just focusing on those who have now lost, and not celebrating anything, but just sending peace and comfort to those in that St. Louis high school. It doesn't make sense. And yes, again, that is the criticism I get. Why don't you talk about how horrible gun violence is, and how can you be happy when shootings continue? And there is, Polly, is there a problem again?
I can hear you, I can see you, but the screen that you're putting up is like not loading.
Okay.
But yeah, I can see you and hear you.
Okay, good. So there's a sense of, every time you look at anything that looks like gun violence, why are we still struggling with this? Why do we still have guns in America? Why don't we do what other countries have done? And so there's an anger about that. How can you be happy, Dr. Marissa, when there's so much violence with gun violence? And to not to defend myself, but I have done several shows on solutions to gun violence. I don't think that it's helpful for any of us to continue to bemoan gun violence and shake your head and get angry without moving to solution. So I would ask you to go and join Sandy Hook Promise. I think it's a great organization that I have joined to do something and not just shake your head about gun violence. Other things in the headlines that people are angry with, and that is not coming up, but any kind of government corruption. How can you be happy when our government is just torn apart at the local level, state level, national level? Britain's going through a lot, all of that. How can you still be happy? There's so much bad news out there. There's so much shiitake that's happening out there. How can you be happy? How can you say heaven is a place on earth? So I think I've covered all the possible, people are suffering from suicide, suffering from depression, suffering from health ailments, cancer, heart disease, all of those. That's the last thing I didn't cover. So how can you be happy when all of those things are happening? And the first thing I will say, I'm not denying that there are horrific things happening across the planet. I am not saying that you don't have a reason to be upset. However, I am also saying that there are a lot of good things that are happening as a result of the bad things. And bad things will always be happening on the planet, because that's one of the reasons why we're here on Earth. That tragedies happen, for one thing. I don't believe that we're punished for tragedy. I believe that we do sometimes attract negativity by continuing to focus on things that are not happy. We choose to look at things that make you shake your head. We choose to look things that go, like, you're driving, when you go by an accident, what do? You look at the accident, roadkill. You know you shouldn't look, but you look anyways. It's this weird, odd thing about humanity. And we tend to be drawn towards things that are horrific and negative. The good news about that is, if you look at it and you are horrified by it, you're also, sometimes your heart breaks wide open to do something about it. And so if you are upset about things that are not heaven on earth, then if you can make that turn that corner, feel it fully. That's one of the tools. You absolutely feel the upset in it, and then take that breath. And I use the breath to reset. And those of you who tuned in yesterday, we did the 3-breath technology. The first breath is soft shoulder, soft elbow, soft knees, to ignite the body connection with your breath. The second breath and release is for your releasing all the stories and the drama, which is your mind. And then the third breath is connecting with chi, eternal energy, and that allows you to put your hand in the power that creates the worlds, that made sure that the planets didn't crash into each other last night, to find solution. I choose on a daily basis, on a moment by moment basis, to move from what upsets me to see what makes me feel better. And that switch can also collectively help us as a humankind to move to that place. And now more than ever, if you want to be one of the normal majority to just be pissed off all of the time, then you're contributing to that collective low vibrating, angry, bitter energy that continues to bring us all down. I know that I'm going to pause there because I know that some of you will accuse me of being a little woo-woo. I am a reluctant woo-woo. I believe in the power of thought. I believe in the power of what we focus on grows bigger. And that's the law of attraction. It's like gravity, whether you believe it or not. And if you continuously focus on things that are negative, more negative things will be brought to you. Let me say that again. If you spend your day talking about things that piss you off, then the universe will bring you more things that you can be pissed off about. It's as simple as that. Try it. Actually, I know many people are trying it because it's a habit already. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you pick this up and you begin to scroll, and wherever you're scrolling, 9 out of 10 of the things you look at are negative, except if you tune in here. Except if you go to, there's many sites called Good News. I was interviewed on his show many, many years ago. There's so many places you could go that has good news. And you will be accused of putting your head in the sand. But honestly, the sand, if you put your head in the sand and you sort of look and spend a little time there, there's a clarity of thought and solution in that sand. I choose to go to the sand because it stops me for a minute of looking at all the bad things, and then I go to the good things. And what I'm going to do is teach you another tool today. I thought, I'm teaching this on Saturday, and a lot of you don't live in my vicinity. So balanced Tai Chi Gong is a moving meditation practice that allows you to settle in to no thought. A lot of people say, I can't meditate because when I meditate, all those thoughts come into my head. Then this is a moving meditation that will help you not think so much. All right. So the first thing I'd like you to do is just stand, feet shoulder length apart. You're going to take that breath in through the nose, and you're going to lift your arms up here, and you're going to open wide, breathing open. Tilt your head back and release into the front. Head down and open. Tilt your head back and release. This is called opening form. And when you're opening, you are opening your heart by taking that breath, and you're moving with chi. Chi is eternal energy, the breath of life. And release. Now, in contrast, I want you to clench your arms right now and keep moving. This is called Li. And Li in Chinese, in Mandarin, means personal power, brute force. And when you're doing that, you can feel, you think you're strong right now, but really you're going to get tired. You get fatigued. So when you use personal force to push yourself through life, you're going to get tired. So in the next breath, I want you to relax your arms back into chi. Do you feel the difference? You're moving now with the energy that creates the worlds. And this is how we can choose to relax and enjoy our lives, no matter what's going on around us. And one more time, breathe in, open, and release. Beautiful. Back to center. And now how I end always, Tai Chi, is you take your right hand, which is the fighting hand, you close it to show you come in peace. You hold the left hand, you bring it down to heart chakra. You do a little bow, xie xie. That's Mandarin for thank you. Xie xie. It's not S-H-I-T, it's S-H-E-A, xie xie. And that is how we finish that practice. All right. I hope you liked that form. We're going to go on break. But before we do, here's the Asian Oprah giveaway today. Belinda Carlisle tickets. I promised you. We've already given one set of tickets away. If you would like to go to see Belinda Carlisle at the Saban Theater, thank you for the thumbs up. That is tomorrow night. One of my sponsors is Where Music Meets the Soul Productions, and Dana's kind enough to give multiple tickets this time. So go to drmarissa.life, and this time put Earth in the subject line, and that will be the second pair of tickets that I get to give out. And we'll be right back. We're going to go take a quick break to thank our sponsors who make this show possible here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Gong. My name is Dr. Marissa Pei. For the next 28 minutes, we will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Just follow the sound of my voice and move with me as I guide you through this ancient wisdom through New Thought practice. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, I can promise you that it will impact all health vortexes. Body, mind, spirit, soul. You will be in a place of balance and inner peace the way we were created. 谢谢. Be my partner, dance with me, just hold on. Want delicious Vietnamese Asian fusion cuisine that is so good for your health you won't believe your taste buds? Olac is a 100% plant-based vegan restaurant founded by Mai on living foods and a love for animals that won't make you sacrifice taste for health. 2 locations to delight you, downtown LA and Fountain Valley. So go to www.olac.com, AULAC, to book your reservation today. Saving the planet has never tasted so good.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice on Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where you can find all my 807 past shows, as well as my red carpet playlist with my interviews with The Temptations backstage, as well as Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and more. I'm so glad that you are here with me. I see some eyeballs, and thank you for giving me the finger, the thumbs up, and some of the hearts there. Thank you so much. I love it when people interact with me. Those of you who are listening on the radio obviously cannot chat in, but if you're streaming on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, please do feel free to comment, and I'll put your comments up on the screen. And today we are answering the question, how can you be so positive and say that heaven is a place on earth when so many bad things are happening all day long or all life long, especially now after the pandemic, especially now with all of our unrest and all the divide in our own country, when economics suck, when governments suck, when the weather sucks, all of these things that are so negative. I was criticized by someone who will remain nameless, but I'm responding to her criticism and trying to answer that question. If you missed the first half of the show, you can get that on YouTube. Also, I wanted to give a big shout out to my sponsor, who continues to give me amazing tickets. We're going to try to share the screen one more time, because today, as I advertised and promoted yesterday on the show, I'm giving away tickets to see Belinda Carlisle, who is amazing. And obviously the title of her song, "Ooh, Heaven is a Place on Earth," is the inspiration for the topic for today. So if you would like a pair of tickets to the concert tomorrow night with Belinda Carlisle, stay tuned, and I'll be giving away my third pair of tickets. They are having so many great people coming on. You can see I pulled up Julieta Venegas. Jake Shimabukuro has a great Christmas Hawaiian music, as well as Gordon Lightfoot, a lot of ageless, wonderful musicians. Engelbert Humperdinck. I mentioned the Temptations before. You've seen my interview of his grandson, the founder, Otis Williams' grandson, has been on my show. His daughter, my new wonderful friend, Alon, she's been on the show. You can get those on the YouTube channel, but the Temptations backstage interview is also on my red carpet playlist, and they will be at the Saban Theater in January. Kenny Loggins, beautiful music. Herman's Hermits, and Peter Noon. I'm sorry. My name recognition. I am the worst name recognition media person you will ever meet. Paul Anka, love his music. Eric Johnson, Neil Sedaka, Judy Collins. She broke her arm, which if you tried to go, I gave tickets and we went, and unfortunately she broke her arm, and that's why that concert was canceled, but she's rescheduled for the 2nd of June. Stone Temple Pilots, Shlomi Shabbat and Pablo Rosenberg, Mike Epps, Eric Bellinger, Carol Burnett, you know that beautiful name. That's the 26th of June, and Freddie Jackson. So those are all in the lineup. You'll have to go to saban.org in order to get those tickets. But today's giveaway is Belinda Carlisle, and that's for tomorrow. And I think I have 5 pairs of tickets. So we can give another pair away in a minute. What I wanted to do now was just one of the things that I love to do in order to make myself feel better. This is another tool, is to go to my memory banks. It's called the Happy 88 tool is called Turning On a Dime of Memories. And someone was messaging me and celebrating one of my teachers, my major best favorite teacher, and his name is Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. And I was telling him about one of the interviews, one of my favorite interviews with him, and that was with other fellow teachers. So I wanted just to play a little bit of that, and that always makes me smile. So another tool to use is turning on your dime of memories and going to your memory banks to find something that will automatically make you smile. And this was a power panel. And what's important about this video is that it won the 2017 Cover Award. So I want to celebrate that because it was celebrating my 200 show, and we're up to 800 shows. So enjoy.
Today also called in on my 100th show. So I'm following that tradition of bringing on the best when I get to celebrate. And it's also celebrating the 19th annual season for nonviolence, which is is a 64-day campaign co-founded in 1998 by Dr. Arun Gandhi and the Association for Global New Thought, again, one of my guests co-founded, and occurs between the memorial anniversaries of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Mahatma Gandhi, January 30th to April 4th. So to celebrate that, I couldn't think of three more powerful teachers that have blessed my life. Some of them know it more than others, but I can't wait to introduce you to these three amazing men on my panel. Neil Donald Walsh is a modern day spiritual messenger whose groundbreaking book, Conversations with God, was on the bestseller list for over 2.5 years, and his continued series has been translated into 37 languages to touch millions of lives with love, inspiration, and hope. Bishop Carlton Pearson, who's been on 2020 Nightline, CBS, and more, is an evangelist who expanded out of the Church of Exclusion to preach the gospel of inclusion. His latest book, published by Simon Schuster, is called God is Not a Christian, Not a Jew, Muslim, Hindu, ... God dwells with us, in us, around us, as us. And I was happy to have him on as a guest last year. And then last but not least, Michael Bernard Beckwith, affectionately known as the Rev, and my big brother, has been on Dr. Oz, the Oprah Winfrey Show, Larry King Live, and more, and is the founder of the Agape International Spiritual Center, a trans-denominational movement and community of 9,000 local members and 1 million friends worldwide, where I get my positive roots watered. One of the co-founders for the Seasons of Nonviolence. You may remember him congratulating me on my 100th show. And he actually said, I'm not just the Asian Oprah, that Oprah was going to start calling herself the Black Dr. Marissa, which was very funny. And I do remember. Please, a super, super duper warm welcome to my powerful panel to celebrate my 200th show on the air. I am so honored and grateful, and I'm going to start with the following. In one word, how would you best describe who you are? In one word, how would you best describe who you are? Because I know you're friends, and we're going to do something fun after that. So starting with yourself, one word that would best describe who you are. Let's start with Carlton.
Curious.
Curious. Michael?
Servant.
Neil?
Divinity.
Divinity. Beautiful. Now, one word that you would use to best describe your friends on the air with you right now. So let's start with Reverend Michael. What is one word that you would use to describe Neil and Carlton?
Carlton is inspirational, and Neil is devotional.
And Neil?
Well, I'm sorry to be so predictable, but I'm going to say divinity for both of them, because when I look into their eyes and when I experience their presence and when I and imbued by who they are, I simply see divinity.
Beautiful. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Thank you.
And Carlton?
Well, I'll use the words I've used for them individually. I'm going to use for both of them twice. Once, the bottom line is love from both of them. Incredibly men of love, unconditional love that has so embraced the world and enlightened. They're so illuminated and illuminating until I have to wear shades to be around them. They're just that bright.
That is beautiful. And I would say all three of you are beautiful, beautiful souls. And I thank you so much for the contribution that each one of you has made to my life. And I would say that you, I would say Reverend Michael is fabulous, that Carlton is amazing, and that Neil is divine. How is that? Okay, and I get one word, but you can do it later. All right. Actually, no, one word for me, just because it's my show. Neil. Energizing. Okay, Bunny.
I like that.
Okay.
I would say enthused.
Yeah,
Okay.
God breathed.
With God.
Yes.
I like that. Thank you. Neil, you don't really know me, but
Divinity. I know you.
oh, thank you.
Neil's got the one word going on.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
I love
All
The
right.
divine. I love it.
And if you've just tuned in and wondering who I'm talking to, well, this is a fabulous panel of wonderful teachers. And I'm actually going to drop the G bomb right now because we're going to talk about God on this show today. So if you're not, some people will say, oh my God, Dr. Marissa is going religious. No. I am not religious at all. In fact, I'm allergic to religion. I love that saying, though, that religion is for people who want to avoid going to hell, and spirituality is for those of us who've already been there. So this will be a spiritual show because we're going to talk about and put the moose on the table about some of those things that people don't like to talk about. Religion, politics. We're doing religion today, but spirituality in particular. And I'm going to start off with who and what is God to you? And ask each one of you to answer that question. Who or what is God to you? And let's start with Neil.
I'm sorry. Would you ask me the question again?
Sure. Who is God to you, or what is God to you?
I'm going to answer it in an unusual way. I'm going to answer it in a reverse way, if you allow me to.
Absolutely.
I don't try to define or describe or explain who God is to me. The question really is, who is God not? And my answer to that is nothing. So if I accept that God is not nothing, that is nothing that is not God, then who God is to me is everything that is, ever was, and ever will be. That there's no separation between what I understand God to be, my experience and my expression of divinity, and all that divinity has expressed. So who is God? Everything.
Everything.
Rev.
I'll embrace everything that Neil just said. Everything that is a manifestation of the only thing that is, which is the presence. And I describe the presence. I mean, you really can't describe something that's indescribable, but the best way is God is a presence that's not an absence. So this presence is everywhere. And this presence is not just in all creation. All creation is in the presence, because the presence is infinite, omni, everywhere, and carries the vibration of all of the sacred qualities that we would speak about, the non-dual quality of love and harmony and peace and intelligence and beauty and all of those wonderful qualities, and conscious, alive, awake. So that's a beginning of a presence that's never an absence.
Beautiful. Carlton?
Well, you said who is God and what is God to me, so that's a little bit limiting. The generic God is the farthest reaches and rhythms and regions of consciousness. There would be God, but to me, God would be the deepest, broadest, most imminent experience of myself. My divinity, my divine expression and essence would be what God is to me. And again, what the gentlemen have already said, my friends, as well as that farthest, deepest reach or rhythm
The limitless.
of
Yeah.
consciousness.
Yeah. Well, the thing that strikes me and why I wanted all three of you that I love so much is your personal relationships with God. You the way that you live, breathe, and express as God is how you have helped so many people, that personal relationship. So in that vein, little odd question, do you ever get mad at God?
Who's going first?
I don't know. You go. I keep forgetting there's three of you here.
Right. No, I can't say that I ever get mad at God.
Okay.
That's not a part of my experience. And when I consider the presence, as soon as you ask the question, my eyes want to close, and like Carlton, I just want to like revel in this deep sense of connection, of the presence that is so closer to me than I am to myself. And so if I get mad, it's not really at God, it's really at myself, at my own misperception, my misalignment. But I at this stage of my development, over 40 years of meditating and praying and studying, I can't say that I get mad at God, but I might be mad at myself for misalignment from time to time.
Well, I asked this question specifically for two reasons. One, because I read or listened to your interview with Larry King Live, Neil, and you said the first time that you had that conscious talk to from God was when you were almost threatening and saying, if you are real, show yourself. And what are the answers? And so that's part of the question. And then the other part of the question, the reason why I'm asking it is there's many people out there, and my listeners too. When I said you were coming on, I had lots of reactions, and one of them was, if there's a God, and God is supposed to be love, then why is all of this horrific stuff happening around the world today with ISIS, with terrorism, yesterday with the Holocaust, with starving children, with my sister dying in a freak flood? If God is all that you're saying it is, how can He let that happen, Neil?
You're asking a question that is unanswerable with a little 30-second soundbite.
You got that right.
That's a huge question.
Okay,
If
so
you
that
wanna
means so that means we can have a whole day workshop on the air.
If you want to give me the rest of the hour, I'll be able to answer that question thoroughly. But in brief, I would seek to answer it by saying, with regard to the actions of others, ISIS and the things you brought up, as opposed to accidents like somebody dying in a car accident or tornadoes, and let's just limit it for this moment to the actions of others. The human beings on the earth are.
Well, as much as I want to continue that, I'm up against the end of the hour. And that was a teaser for you to go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, and listen to one of my best interviews there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Last pair of tickets goes to the person who goes to drmarissa.life and puts in Belinda for Belinda Carlisle tickets. Thanks so much. This is Dr. Marissa. Here out of her living room with Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. The morning show reminding you that it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. See you tomorrow.